How's it going, everyone? This is the second episode on my personal channel, the my Nathaniel Verduzco 91 channel, the Hybrid Athlete episode. So I'm gonna get right into my taper week for this marathon I got quickly approaching. Um, for those of you who don't follow the other channel, I've done two half distance marathons so far this year. This is my third endurance race of the year. This is a 26.2 mile full marathon in Fort Collins. Um, I'm just kind of doing a recap here on what I got going on for this week to kind of taper and dial down on the intensity and dial down on the training. So last week was my big week. I did 50 miles running. I did 25 miles of biking and approximately 1 to 1.2, 1.3 miles on the swim. So I did all three disciplines for the Ironman, but I'm focused on the running. Body weight is still like 181 pounds, roughly. I wake up at like 181. I go to bed at like 184. So I'm still a little bit heavier than I want to be, but I'm confident that my running has progressed into a level that I can comfortably complete the marathon in. The big question is what my time will be. So I've set a very high goal of breaking 3 hours. We'll see if that happens. I'd give myself probably a 20 to 25% chance of doing that, as long as I dial in on my prep and I make sure that I rest the 2 days prior to the race, and I got a shot at it. So, like I said in the previous episode, this channel is for those who are into weightlifting, who want to stay lifting weights, but who also want to excel in endurance. My goal in this in my fitness career and on this channel is to fine tune that and to provide high quality, high level advice and input to those who are in the YouTube community who also have similar goals. So I can't really sugarcoat it. It's a difficult thing to do. Most people are either one or the other. So everyone who I see running the paces that I run are relatively quite a bit smaller than me, and they don't lift nearly as much weights. But that's the whole reason that the journey is such a challenge and so much fun, is because you have an opportunity to kind of redefine what fitness is for you and the lifestyle, the overall pros and cons. I mean, the pros definitely outweigh the cons all day. I don't have high blood pressure. I'm still pretty strong compared to most people in the gym. I've worked hard for several years to get to this point, but that's not to say that most people can get to my level, which is kind of I'm at an advanced level, but I'm not nearly at an elite level yet. But that's not to say that anyone who adopts these strategies, especially if your starting point is a little bit more advanced than mine, that's not to say that you can't get to a very high level relatively quick. So this is like my full second year into tracking everything in terms of blood work, diet, exercise regimens, splits, weekly splits, macro cycles, mesocycles, things along those lines. So I'm going to try to avoid speaking in too many professional terms, just because most of the viewers will not be at that level of understanding the lingo behind training programs, etc. But I will say that I have focused these past several months on a cycle which entails, like I said, the first episode, going from like 80% focused on weights in the off season to 80% focused on the run, and then still lifting weights 4 days a week. I might drop down to 3 days as I get ready for this Ironman Boulder that's coming up on June 10th. But that being said, I'll get right into my taper week, which is starting today. Today is actually probably my only hard day for the week. I have a 2-a-day workout. So I did 15 sets of legs this morning with a 5 mile run. And now I'm going into a push workout tonight, chest and shoulders. So the big difference between those heavyweight off-season lifts and these genuinely hybrid workout style weight sessions are the body parts involved. So I can usually focus on one body part like a bodybuilder in the off-season in the winter and early spring. But as I get into the heavy summer endurance season, I go to 2, sometimes even 3 body parts in a day. So today I'm going to do 3 body parts. I'm going to do legs, shoulders, and chest. Tomorrow will be back and arms. And then Wednesday will be a run only. And then Thursday will be a light run just to kind of shake out and get ready for Sunday. And then Friday and Saturday are completely off. So I will say that I train very hard all year, except for the 2 or 3 days that are leading up to the my marathons and my Ironmans. So I anticipate doing more Ironmans and more marathons per year. The more advanced I get, I might just double and do like 2 and 2 instead of kind of 111 and then the obstacle course races. So that'll be definitely planned out for 2024. But in this time frame, that's kind of my schedule. That's my layout. So the advantage of working out pretty much all the time, treating specific weeks where I really feel depleted and my joints hurt, treating those differently, obviously, but just reacting to my body. But in terms of like a full off schedule, this upcoming weekend will be like the one time or the 2 times a year where I am off completely. So when that happens, my body, the stimulus to my body, the recovery session, those 48 hours are very valuable because my body's never used to that. So it's kind of like vice versa in terms of growing and pushing your body to different kind of shocking the system. Giving my body that rest right before a long distance run is something it's not used to. This entire spring, my longest runs have come on Saturdays, which is the end of 5 days of heavy training. So I'm already depleted, and then I go out and I run 17 miles. This weekend it was 20 miles, and I'm executing at a pretty good pace, right at around 7 minutes, just over 7 minutes with that type of training schedule for the week. So I can only anticipate and speculate that when I take the 2 days off this upcoming weekend for the May 7th race, that I'm going to be even a level above what I was last year. Because when you compare apples to apples, last year I finished my 17-mile runs right at around 2 hours at my peak of training, but I just executed a 19 and a half, roughly 19.7 mile run at nearly the same pace. So I added 3 miles to my peak run versus last year, and I wasn't lifting as many weights as I am this year at this time. At this time last year, I was a little bit skinnier. I was a little bit smaller, weighed about 3 to 4 pounds lighter. I wasn't as strong as I am now, but I firmly believe that I have put on probably 3 to 4 pounds of solid, mature muscle, which isn't going to go away all year. And that's the goal, is to build such a base that you may not be, 100, because I'm 6'1". I may never be 155 pound, dominating the marathons or winning the race, but I will be a top 5% of the field, which is my goal. I was top 5% last year, and I intend to be top 2-3% this year. So with a competitive time. So you can accomplish a lot kind of by applying this program properly. And the more I get into my specialized certifications and my expertise in the kind of the entire repertoire of being a hybrid athlete, the more I'm going to share. But I just want to make sure that I give you guys the best content, the highest quality, and what is my truth and what is ultimately the universal, kind of the generalized truth for anyone out there who's looking to do the same thing. So to kind of conclude my taper week, as I said, today's a tougher day, but then I kind of just taper off. And then when I hit Wednesday or Thursday, that weight session with maybe a 5K run, it's just going to be like a pacing run. So I might run at what my goal pace would be for like the first 13 miles, which is going to be like a 6:45 pace. So I'll just kind of go and crank that out relatively easily. And then I'll hit like a light weight session. And then I'll focus on recovery for, 48 to 72 hours. Diet wise, nothing really changes. I think it's important for everyone who's maybe doing these races for the first time to not eat anything different than what they're used to eating. So don't psych yourself out and be like, oh, I got to eat, 3 big ass bowls of pasta the night before just because I need to carb up. If your diet doesn't include pasta, don't eat pasta. If your diet is like mine's beef and rice, chicken and rice, I'm just going to add half a cup to a cup of rice. And then I'm going to have that as my extra carb source for the night before. Cause I already eat pretty substantially a night. So I'm not going to do anything that's way out of the norm. I'm not going to eat extra sugar. I'm not going to do anything that's stupid that might get me sick or not make me feel the same. So I'm just going to kind of enhance the processes that I already take in terms of recovery, sleep, etc. I'm going to lay off the caffeine for that day before. I'm going to drink maybe just one caffeinated beverage, just like 150, maybe at the most 200 milligrams of caffeine for the whole day. And then I'm going to set myself up for like a nice sleep. I'll wake up early, 4 a.m., probably 3:45 in the morning, because the race starts at 6:30, and then get to the location and be ready for the race. So overall, it's important just to kind of keep your same routine, but maybe just adjust up 5, 10, 15%, just to kind of anticipate the stress that you're going to be putting on your body. Because 26 miles, I only run that once or twice a year. That's it. So in my training, I'm never running the full Ironman distance. I might change that in the future, but thus far it's kind of worked out pretty well, just because I never give myself the opportunity to logically take 3-4 days off from hard exercise to try to attempt a 26-mile run. From my perspective, on my 6th day of training in a row, when I go out to run 20 miles, that's a very difficult task, at least for the fitness level that I'm at right now. If I were to take a specific time frame off, or even lighten the workload on the weights, then I would be able to do that easier. But that's not my approach. I only do it twice a year. People are more than welcome to kind of comment, or um, you know send their feelings or their input towards that. But in my opinion, that's just kind of how I like to do things. I've done some research into kind of the loss of cardio fitness that happens if you take specific timeframes off. Taking 2 weeks off will damage your cardio progression, but anything less than that is pretty much not damaging at all, as long as you're staying active, as long as you get your heart rate up daily. For example, I did a 50-mile week. This is in my taper week. My total mileage before the race is going to be like maybe 20, 22 miles. So I'm going to still hit like a 45 to 50-mile week, but it's just going to be concentrated on that one peak day, as opposed to stretching out a couple, like a 17-mile run, a 12-mile run, and some 6-mile runs. So this week it's going to be like my 5-mile run, a 3-mile run, one 11-mile run, and then the race. So it's going to look different. Other than that, I think I'll save some of my other stuff for a different episode. But I just wanted to send a quick update on my taper. I know there's a few people who I know who are doing this race, so good luck to y'all out there. Anyone else who wants to reach out and kind of maybe train at some point, or just collab on some information, my door is always open. I'm on YouTube all day because that's where I play my music when I work out and stuff. So I'll see any notifications, any messages. So feel free to hit me up. I think that's all I got. Kind of a short and sweet video today. So can't wait for this race. I've been excited. I've been thinking about it for the last pretty much all year. So we'll see how it goes, and then I'll be able to get on here and provide a kind of a post race analysis video on Monday, either Monday or Tuesday. So thanks a lot, guys. Take care. Have a good one, and go out there and, as usual, be great.